I said this earlier in the week. Donald Trump, I think it's obvious, wants to run against Joe Biden. And if you look at all the data, that seems like the best bet for Republicans in November, not just at the top of the ticket, but down the ballot. But you see this kind of effort to, talk about the 25th Amendment, whether he should be replaced. Is that a good strategy for Republicans?
Well, politically, it's probably not, but for what's right, it is. You have a president who is unfit, who's publicly stated that they're not making any major decisions after 8 o'clock because the president is sleeping. Imagine what our enemies could do if they wanted to do us some harm. Of course, they planned something after 8 o'clock, and then you'd have this committee of man-bun 25-year-old kids trying to decide what they should do in a state of panic as they try to wake the president. Yeah, it's important. This man is not fit to be in office, and politics aside, we still have a country to run. And as far as Merrick Garland goes, he broke the law. He's in defiance of Congress. He's in defiance of a subpoena. We asked to see the tapes. He will not let us see the tapes. We don't know what's on the tapes. We understand that I know they've given us a transcript, but that transcript is probably not the same. And I think it'll show that he had advisors in there advising him on what to say. Well, the American public, and specifically Congress, has a right to know who was in that room, what was said, and if they actually gave us what was actually said, because from the Justice Department on down, they have not been very forthcoming with truthful information, as their press secretary has shown time and time again.
But do you feel that getting that her audio, which could very well match up the transcript that's already been given, is just going to show what a lot of Americans already see as a president who's frail, old, has cognitive decline? I mean, I guess what is the advantage? You talk about what's the best interest of the country and transparency, but again, I wonder if this could backfire.
It's not an advantage. It's just we have a right to see that. And why are they not letting us see that? That's the question. And it doesn't. And frankly, I don't. If it shows exactly what's on the transcript, then that's fine. But why do they risk all this just for that? To me, it just seems as if once again they're hiding something. And even if they're not, we still have a right to know. We were supposed to be granted that, and by them putting that under presidential preference or whatever they call it, to me is just a miscarriage of justice.
I was happy to have you on here. I wanted to ask you about something else. Republicans, they talk a lot about
Sure.
Biden and the Democrats weaponizing government and the law against them. There's a whole committee about it, but we've reported here that there are quite a few Democrats who have been investigated or prosecuted since Biden took office. Senator Bob Menendez was in court today, laundry list of charges. We have Henry Cuellar, Cori Bush, Eric Adams, they're being investigated. Doesn't that cut against the narrative that the DOJ is only after the right? Aren't they just going after the people they suspect of wrongdoing?
Well, if you look at the case of Hunter Biden, I mean, the truth is that he was allowed to forego paying taxes on millions of dollars of money that was paid to him for some reason. I had over $20 million. They had over 20 bank accounts, over 20 different LLCs put in place. For what? There was no products being sold. And yet, again, we have a Justice Department that chose not to go after them. And yeah, they went after him for lying on his form for a gun, but that's a felony. Let's see what let's see what the sentence is on that, and see if it matches the charge.
Well, he was convicted, and he could very well go to prison, and he's the president's son.
He was convicted, but like I said, he has not been. They have not decided what his sentence would be yet, and that's what we'll be telling in all this. And also, I mean, look at Steve Bannon. He refused to come before a bogus committee that was, by all intents and purposes, just a political witch hunt. The Speaker would not allow the Republicans that we were choosing to be on there.
I guess just to wrap it up, right? I did list the number of them. We put it up, a number of Democrats who are being investigated, who've been prosecuted. Sure. Is it a weighing test? Like, there's more Republicans being targeted? Or I guess the question is, how do you reconcile that? Because the government is going after these high-profile Democrats.
Well, Menendez, I mean, good gosh, he had a suit It had gold bars in it. His wife's driving around a nice car. There's a lot of things going on there. That had been going on for quite some time, and most of those were pretty obvious. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to comment on each and every one.
Okay.
But good gosh, it's not a tit for tat type of thing. But you should call it out anytime you see it, because if they can go after us, they can go after you all.
All right. Well, and the little bell that Menendez was apparently ringing for his wife, but that's a story for another time. Congressman Tim Burchett, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Great seeing you, brother. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.